Python numbers. Python numbers. In Python, numbers are a fundamental data type used to represent numerical values. They can be categorized into three main types. Integers, these are whole numbers without decimal points. They can be positive, negative, or 0. Examples include 10, -5, and 0. Floating point numbers, these are numbers with decimal points. They can be used to represent fractional values. Examples include 3.14, -2.5, and 1.5 times 10 to the power of negative third, which is equivalent to 0.0015. Complex numbers, these are numbers of the form a plus bj, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. The letter j represents the imaginary unit. Examples include 2 plus 3j and -1, 0.5j. Python automatically infers the data type of a number based on the value assigned to it. For example, if you assign the value 10 to a variable, it will be considered an integer. Key points. Python supports both integer and floating point arithmetic. The int and float functions can be used to convert numbers to integers or floating point numbers, respectively. Python also supports complex arithmetic. For more advanced mathematical operations, you can use the math module. Example: Python #integer x equals 10 #floating point number y equals 3.14 #complex number z equals 2 plus 3j #printing the data types print type x #output class int print type y #output class float print type z #output class complex. Verification of type. To determine the data type of an object, use the built-in type function. Python x equals 10 print type x #output class int. Integer creation. Integers are whole numbers without decimal points. They can be created directly. Python x equals 10 y equals -5 z equals 0. Floating point number creation. Floating point numbers are numbers with decimal points. They can be created directly. Python x equals 3.14 y equals -2.5 z equals 1.5 times 10 to the power of negative third equivalent to 0.0015. Scientific number creation. Scientific numbers are expressed in the form a*10b, where a is the significand and b is the exponent. In Python, you use the letter e to represent the power of 10. Python x equals 1.5 times 10 cubed equivalent to 1500. Y equals 2.3 times 10 to the power of negative fourth equivalent to 0.00023. Complex number creation. Complex numbers are numbers of the form a plus bj, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part. In Python, you use the letter j to represent the imaginary unit. Python x equals 2 plus 3j y equals -1, 0.5j. Additional notes. Python supports both integer and floating point arithmetic. The int and float functions can be used to convert numbers to integers or floating point numbers, respectively. Python also supports complex arithmetic. For more advanced mathematical operations, you can use the math module.
4,000 पे करबो ना